Let's talk about BYU and Southern Utah. Cougars now 2-0, Thunderbirds 0-2. The offense was much better, as we expected it would be. Everyone was surprised at Sam Houston. We all were at just like, what the heck? And then after a week of practice, the offense came back, and Kedon Slovis settled in and had a pretty good day.
Yeah, 22 of 32, a 348 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had an interception, but being an old quarterback, those should not count.
When you get nailed as
when you
you're throwing
get smacked and the ball flies up in the air, or when you throw a ball and it hits a receiver in the face and he doesn't catch it and it pops up in the air, like those are ones I don't think should go against the quarterback. I think they should be team interceptions. Or if a receiver tips a ball up in the air and it gets picked, give the receiver the interception.
Yeah.
That's not the quarterback's fault.
And block for somebody, for crying out loud.
You know what? Give the offensive tackle an interception on that one, because he let Kedon get smacked. The ball went straight up in the air and got picked. So he didn't make any bad throws in that game. And so yeah, he had an interception, 22 of 32, 4 touchdowns, and he had another rushing TD.
Yeah, so 5 Slovis touchdowns on the day.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing day. You know, we're a little bit concerned that the run game wasn't there. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But how about Isaac Rex with 4 receptions for 112 yards and a touchdown? That touchdown ties him with Gordon Hudson, my old teammate, for the most touchdowns receiving at 22 for all time at that tight end position.
We've been waiting for the quarterback tight end reunion because we didn't see it a whole lot last year.
Right.
And that appears to be on, and looking forward to Saturday. I sat down with Isaac, and you'll see that interview on game day as we get ready for kickoff. And what a nice, charming, giant, soft-spoken young man who's a little older now, and it's a fun interview.
It's great. And we were talking about on After Further Review. Hopefully you guys all watched After Further Review when it was available an hour before this show, leading into this show. We talked a little bit about Isaac's wingspan and his catch radius. He reminds me of Chad Lewis with that huge, wingspan where he can, I think it's 7 feet that Isaac can go, tip to tip. That's a nice big target where he can go up and get the ball. We had a great throw in that game by Kedon where Isaac was going down
65
the middle,
yards.
and he just outreached everybody for it. And I don't think anybody else on the field could have made that catch, and he made it look pretty easy. And what a throw by Kedon. So Isaac's become a great weapon. Chase Roberts, 6 receptions for 84 yards. He's been consistently very good, the most consistent receiver. And I love how Darius Lassiter, the transfer from Eastern Michigan, has really figured in to this offense for BYU and has been doing a nice job. Darius had 5 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown in this one.
Keanu Hill, 3 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown in his season debut. Amber, let me answer your question real quick. Saturday's game is on ESPN2. The pregame show is on BYUtv, and the postgame show is on BYUtv. So those are the 2 outlets that you should be looking for prime time on Saturday night. The run game, as you mentioned, Blaine, 23 carries, 46 yards. And that's not great. That's not a good number. We thought it would be triple that against Southern Utah. But as Aaron Roderick mentioned on his Coordinator's Corner show on BYUtv on Monday, Southern Utah stacked the box, so we just threw at them all game long. And, Slovis had 348 yards and 4 touchdown passes. So it's like, yeah, okay, but we'd still like to see better running.
Yeah, I mean, we watched the play and broke it down for you on After Further Review, where they actually had 11 players in the box. 11 in the box, and tried to play man-to-man defense. So Southern Utah did play a defense determined to stop the run. But you know what? It's Southern Utah. You still need to be able to average 4 yards a carry. And even though I think Arkansas will play more balanced defensively, they're not going to load up everything because they're going to have to defend the pass. Perhaps as they play a more basic set defensively with a typical number in the box, BYU will have more success running, and I think they have to do that.
They got to do some. They got to do some just to take some pressure off of Slovis and also bring in play action.
Hey, Tammy Van Houten Drake. That's my cousin.
Oh,
she's joining from New York, from back home in upstate New York. Way to get on, Tammy. This is like a couple weeks in a row.
Yeah. And we had a lot of New Yorkers on the show.
New Yorkers showing up big time.
BYU's defense was solid again. Camden Garrett got his first career interception. He's the other Weber State transfer. You got Eddie Heckard and Camden Garrett, who played for Jay Hill at Weber State, and they came down here to play. SUU rushed 27 times for 84 yards, not a lot.
No, BYU's run defense has been stellar for through these 2 games.
And they picked up 262 yards in the air and a touchdown. They had a senior quarterback, and they made some nice plays in the second half.
Yeah, and remember, this quarterback, Miller, he's been starting for them for 3 straight years. Since the COVID-shortened year, every game for the last 3 years, he's been the starter for them. So a very veteran quarterback. Not surprising he was poised and looked good. We expected that out of him.
How about special teams? BYU was all over the place. Harrison Taggart, he's the transfer from Oregon. He got in there, blocked a punt. That led to a touchdown. And Marcus McKenzie, he's the gunner. The gunner is the guy first down to tackle somebody trying to catch one of Rico's punts. And he is spectacular at doing that.
Yeah, he's becoming a star on special teams. And he's got 2 things going for him. First of all, he's a very good football player. So he's hard to block, and he's a solid tackler. But he's just flat out blazingly fast. And when he gets outside as a gunner, he is having tremendous success getting down and giving people problems and covering punts. And then, as far as Rico kicks the football, sometimes you'd worry that he'd outkick coverage.
Yeah.
He's not outkicking McKenzie.
No.
And so he has been a phenomenal
McKenzie
weapon.
loves it. He said, and we'll see him on game day because he's in the film room this week, but he said that Rico kicks it so high that he has time to burn down and nail the punt returner. And he goes, yeah, I love it. I love that he kicks it far and high because he's fast, and that's enough.
When have we ever, that we kind of reserve that film room for stars. You know what I mean? So it's like big stars on offense, big stars on defense. I don't ever remember us having a kick cover guy be in the film room to talk about it. That's how much of a star Marcus McKenzie has become down covering kicks. So special teams has been a real plus for BYU this season. And I look at Ryan Rico as, if not the top punter, one of the top 2 or 3 punters in the country. His ability to flip the field is a big deal. And so BYU in this game against Arkansas, that's going to be a big deal. There's going to be times when Arkansas's defense is going to hold, and where it's going to be okay to say, listen, let's not take a chance. We're deep in our own territory. Let's just let Ryan Rico flip the field here. And he'll boom a 65 or 70-yarder down there, and Marcus McKenzie will go down and take the guy out right where he catches the ball, and now they've got a long field. And in the exchange of punts, you gain yardage. And in really tight football games against good teams, sometimes it's that punting game that allows you to gradually flip the field and get a short field and score. So what a weapon Rico is, and what a weapon Marcus McKenzie is in kick coverage. Way underrated, I think. Although I do think after 2 games, people are going, hey, this McKenzie kid's pretty special.
Yeah, and he's fun to talk to. Very bright and excited to be here. And then his twin brother will be here next year once he finishes up his mission back in Atlanta, and we'll have 2 McKenzies. 2 McKenzies are always better than one.
Yeah, 2 McKenzies are better, especially when they both run faster than 10.5 in the 100 meters.
Absolutely. Right? Kalani Sitake addressed the media to begin the week on the heels of a 2-0 start and looking straight into the face of Arkansas. Let's listen to his opening remarks, and we'll react to him. Kalani Sitake.
Really excited about this week. Obviously, happy about being 2-0 as a team, and excited about the competition that we've had so far and seeing the guys play. We're right where we wanted to be at this point. Obviously, there's some things that we can definitely improve on. Looking forward to improving from week 2 to week 3. Thought we made some improvement from week 1 to week 2. Doesn't get any easier. We have a great team in Arkansas, with a well-coached team. I'm really excited about the matchup. I mean, Sam Pittman's an amazing person and a great mentor and a great coach, and I like being around him. I'm looking forward to, talking with him before and after the game. But I think in terms of coaching, man, I just really admire what he's done and the way he leads. He's obviously a background of an O-line guy, so I know that they'll be really physical. We played against them last year, and they put up a lot of points on us, and they got the victory. And so we're looking for the the rematch and going out to Arkansas and then going to enjoy this game and try to get ready for them. And the tough team, tons of talent, just like we saw last year. And doesn't hurt that they have a veteran quarterback returning that's big and strong, can run and can throw. That combination with a running back that can run. They have a group of running backs that can run, a core of them, and then they have solid tight ends that can catch, can throw, that can catch in the pass game, and they can throw great blocks. And then you have big receivers. They have 3 receivers that basically they all have about 100 yards each in receiving yards. That's just one phase. The offense is really good and a well-coached team. Obviously, you got some new coaches there, but defense, you can see the same thing. Athletic team, tons of talent, and really looking forward to the matchup. But obviously, we're going to have to be at our best and looking forward to our guys getting there. And it's week 3 now, so we're right at the swing of things with the season. It took forever to get here, but now that the season's here, it seems like it's going pretty quickly. So we're trying to relish all the moments and try to make some great experiences and great memories. And so hopefully we can get that done this weekend when we get out there in Arkansas. Looking forward to the matchup, though. So I'll take any questions you guys have.
Hey, do you have a question for him?
Yeah. No. Actually, I love that Kalani says, how many coaches say, hey, the season's going pretty fast, so we need to relish every moment, which I love that he says that. He talks to these kids all the time about taking it all in and making sure that they're enjoying it and not being tight, which I think is important as you go on the road to a place like Arkansas, for your players to be relishing the moment, being excited about being in a big environment like that, and having fun, right? Because when you're having fun, you play loose and you play fast. And so I love that little comment. That's just one of the little words I picked up in that interview today, where I was just like, yeah, do relish the moment. Have fun. You're going down and playing in the SEC. You're way more likely to win if your team's loose and you're playing and you're having fun.
Yeah, and we've been waiting a long time for this. I wrote a story in the Deseret News today. You can read it at Deseret.com, but it's like the game we used to play in school, Red Rover, send the Cougars on over, and it's like the kids who weren't invited to play in that game, they just stood on the sidelines at recess and watched, and then all of a sudden BYU's waved in, and now their challenge is to come through and break through the line. And you look at the 10 P5s that are over there locked arm in arm to try to deny BYU, and you go, well, where's the weak spot? And you see Texas and Oklahoma, and you see the right side of the line. Well, those guys are a little bigger.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to run over there because we'll deal with them later in the game. But you look over to Arkansas and Kansas and Cincinnati, and you go, okay, there's opportunities here. And that's where they're running on Saturday to break through against Nebraska. And after last year's game where Nebraska came in, scored 52 points against BYU, beat them by 17, this is kind of a different team for Arkansas. It's a much different team for BYU, but for Arkansas, it seems much different.
Yeah, Arkansas, as I've watched film on their first 2 games, first off, KJ Jefferson, their quarterback, is not playing as aggressively in the run game as he was last season. Remember, he had a couple of concussions, and they've lost Raheim Sanders, who is a huge weapon for them. He had nearly 1,500 yards rushing last season, 10 touchdowns rushing. He's a bona fide All-American running back. He's a starting type running back in the National Football League when he gets to that level, and he's out. And so you get the sense as you watch the film that perhaps they've said to KJ Jefferson, listen, we can't have you get knocked out. We can't have you get a concussion. Like, we have to have you in there. So you need to be a little more judicious when you're running the football. Because last year it felt like he ran like a crazy man. Like, he'd break containment on a scramble and run up the field and run over 3 dudes and turn it back to the inside. He seems this year like he's buying time. He's keeping his head downfield. But when he does run it, he's getting down. He's getting out of bounds. He's not taking the hits that he was. And remember, he hurt BYU last year in big play situations when he'd run and go get a first. It'd be 3rd and 6. Everybody covered downfield. He'd take off and get 9 yards and get a first down and prolong a drive, and then they go down and score. So they just seem to be a little less aggressive with him and calling fewer actual called run plays for him in their run game. And he's a big weapon.
Yeah.
Remember, KJ Jefferson is 6'3" and almost 250 pounds. They have him listed at 247. BYU had a hard time tackling him last year. Such a physical presence at quarterback. And he's a good thrower. He's a good thrower. And then, A.J. Green's going to start at running back now without Rocket Sanders in there. Rocket Sanders is a 240-pound, 6'3" running back. And we talked about his numbers. A.J. Green's very, very good.
Yeah.
But he's more like a normal-sized human. He's 5'11", he's 205 pounds. He's a normal-sized human running back.
He's not Superman.
Right. And so they still have those tall receivers. They're 6'4", 6'4", 6'3". But BYU's dealt with that with a lot of teams they've played. It just does. They don't look as explosive offensively. But to me, in the first two games, Arkansas looked better defensively.
Yeah. And Western Carolina, they beat them 56-13.
Right.
Kent State 28-6. I don't know if it says it kind of like with some things about BYU. Is it the opponent, or are they that good in certain areas? And I don't know if Western Carolina has got anything, or Kent State. We knew Sam Houston would be athletic, and they were. Southern Utah, we thought it would play them tough because they played so tough down at Arizona State. But BYU handled them pretty good. So we're going to find out a lot about these Hogs. The interesting thing about the Razorbacks is they play at number 14 LSU a week from Saturday.
Right.
So now put yourself in the mind of a 20-year-old playing football at Arkansas, who is not a newcomer to the SEC or the Big 12 or whatever, and you've got BYU, but you have LSU on the road in Death Valley the following week. You're not thinking about BYU. I don't care how many times a coach says, we're going to focus on BYU. It's BYU. It's BYU. It's LSU, LSU, LSU. Especially for Arkansas. That's their rival. They usually play on Thanksgiving.
It's a league game. It's at LSU.
Yeah.
BYU probably had their attention last year. It's like, hey, this is a road game. It's up there. But this is a pretty veteran Arkansas team. They're probably thinking, yeah, we played these guys last year, and we laid a bunch on them. Now they're coming down to our place, right? And we should handle them, right? It's a little less easy to handle them without Rocket Sanders, but they probably feel like they can handle them. And those kids are going, but LSU's next weekend, right?
We can't lose
LSU's
LSU.
That's
a conference game.
And so that plays into BYU's advantage, I think, for sure. That's a big, big game that's looming out in front of them.